In this video, I'm going to show you the best and most up-to-date way to leverage cold email to scale your business in 2025 and beyond. And these are the same tactics that I've leveraged to get insane results like 10% reply rates and being able to book hundreds of sales calls every single month and being able to scale my agency to multiple seven figures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 5 different things that you need to know about setting up your cold email for success in 2025 and go over the 5 different things that you need to make sure are set up correctly so that you can get insane results as well. The landscape of cold email looks significantly different than it did 4 years ago. There's new tools popping up that allows cold email to be more effective. There's more safety precautions coming from companies. The way consumers are viewing cold emails and responding to cold emails as more people are leveraging cold email to grow their business is also changing. And if we're not aware and if we're not keeping track of these and adapting to these new trends, we're never going to have success with cold email. So let's get into the 5 different points that we need to make sure that we're on top of so that when we actually go to send cold emails, we're going to have success with it. So the first point that I want to hit on is the email authentication protocol. So if you literally just Google cold email protocols, all that sort of stuff, you'll probably see some headlines and some news from the likes of people like Microsoft, Google, and Yahoo who are taking a stand in making sure that they're protecting their consumers from the abundance of scams and making sure that we can't just send a bunch of cold emails or send a bunch of emails to a bunch of random people without the proper authentication protocols that ensure that the person that's sending the email is actually going to be legit. So if we look at this article, for example, Microsoft joins Google and Yahoo in the charge for stronger email authentication, and it's making authentication mandatory from the senders, meaning I can't just go get a Gmail and send a bunch of emails. I need to make sure that I'm going through the proper authentication process to make sure that what I'm actually sending from is authentic and legit and is going to protect the consumer ultimately, but also make sure that you're a legitimate sender. It also gives some tips on what we need to do from a technical best practice, which is make sure you have valid DNS settings, make sure your DMARC is set up, make sure your SPF DKIM is set up properly so that the authenticity protocols are actually met. And then also the low spam rate, maintaining a good sender reputation by keeping spam complaints to a minimum, which we'll hit on a little bit later as well. So what a lot of people do when they start cold email is they'll just use a bunch of Gmail accounts. They'll potentially just get a bunch of emails and start blasting emails without properly authenticating it. And it can be pretty challenging to authenticate the emails, or it used to be really challenging to authenticate the emails because what you had to do is you had to go through all of these different protocols to set up the DKIM, to authenticate the email, to make sure that the CNAME is set up and the host records and all that sort of stuff. I had to buy this domain. I had to set up the 3 emails per domain. I had to go through this whole step-by-step process. We actually had a full team that was responsible specifically just for this for people because of how complex it would be. And if you missed one thing, you would not be legit and your emails would not send and it would just be a complete nightmare. But good news is there are tools like Instantly where you can literally get an authentic email completely done for you just in 3 clicks. If I log into instantly.ai and if I go to add new, I can have a done for you email setup. What this means is that they will set up your accounts. You get to choose a domain. So basically it's not going to be from an @Gmail account, which is risky to send from. It'll be from an @your company name account. It will automatically reconnect them. It'll save you a ton of time. They have the proper IP accounts. They'll make sure that they're warmed up properly. And basically they'll set up all of the authentication protocols that Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft suggest that we do completely done for you. So all we have to do is we have to click on the done for you setup. And let's just say my business name is Agency U. What I can do is I can search Agency U and I can find multiple different domains associated with my company. And if I click next, what it will automatically do is it will buy the domain. I can forward my domain that I just purchased to the correct domain. And then what it will automatically do is it'll create 3 different emails per domain. And I can see here that it'll charge me $15 per domain and $5 per month per email, which is cheaper than doing it any other way. And all I need to do is click place order and it will automatically set up the protocols that Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft are suggesting that we do. In addition to the low spam rate, what it's going to do is it's going to warm up. So over the course of the next 2 weeks, once we purchase the email, it'll go up into a warm up queue. This means that it'll start to automatically send emails back and forth from the specific email and make sure that the email is trusted and start to build trust with Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, so that when we do start to send emails at a specific volume, in this case around 30 to 50 per day, then it's not going to be marked as spam. it'll be a provider trusted email. This is by far the fastest and most efficient way to get your email set up properly while following the authentication protocols. The next thing that I'm going to hit on is finding leads. So arguably one of the most important parts of your campaign is who you're actually sending the emails to. What I see a lot of times happen is people, will get an email list that looks something like this, whether they buy it from someone, whether they built it, maybe they used some sort of tool to export all of these different emails, and they spray and pray hoping that they're going to get responses from the people. And the problem is that oftentimes when we get a huge list like this, and I'm extremely guilty of this when I was first starting, was I would get a bunch of bounces. I would have to sort through my list to make sure if this was actually legit or not. It would burn the domain because basically if I'm sending multiple emails and I'm getting a lot of bounces, I'm getting a lot of spams, then it's immediately going to flag my emailer as spam and it's going to turn that domain off and nothing's ever going into the inbox. So what I had to do was I was like, okay, cool. Now I have to get the list. I'd have to also buy credits from a verification tool to put it through a verification process to make sure that the emails were actually legit. And it was this whole process that required multiple steps, multiple digging through, multiple back and forths, which was ultimately just a headache for me. Good news is we don't need to do that anymore. It can literally be done in one step through instantly.ai to quickly get leads, because we all want to get leads fast and we all want to make sure that they're actually going to be the right people that we want to actually target. We can use Instantly's lead finder. So if I go to lead finder, for example, let's just say I want to hit on people who are CEOs in San Francisco and then Los Angeles. What this will pull up is it'll pull up literally all of the CEOs in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Not only can I filter by job titles and location, I can filter by management levels. Let's actually change it to C-level executives. And I can also filter by industry and keywords. So if I was like, okay, cool, I want people in software. And let's actually open up the location a little bit. Let's just say I want them in just California in general. And I can also filter by employees. How many employees does this company have, which will indicate the size of them? I can filter by the revenue level. I can filter by if they have any job listings. If I'm doing something along those lines, I can filter by technology used. If I'm going after e-commerce, for example, then they're likely using something like a Shopify or AdRoller. What this allows me to do is I can quickly pull a huge list of leads. And in addition, what I can do is I can select these leads. And once I add them to my campaigns, I can click my campaign. I can click on add to campaign here. And what I'll be able to see when I go to my campaigns is I'll be able to see the leads being added to this campaign. And what I will also be able to see is I'll be able to see that the status is in verification queue. Not only am I getting the leads filtered by the different filters that I want to choose essentially, so this is software and internet, but what it's also going to do is it's going to triple verify the contacts. So that means I'm not going to have to put them through a verification process, have to export them, have to re-upload them, have to go through the waiting game of them verifying. I can literally just transfer this into the campaign that I'm going to send. It will automatically verify them, meaning that the emails that I'm going to actually be sending to are actually legit. And the cool thing is it tells us so much about the prospect, company news, phone numbers, location, and so much more. So this building has never been easier with a tool like Instantly Lead Finder, which makes it so easy to find and verify contacts literally in a couple of clicks. Okay, so now that we have figured out the authentication protocols, we have a quick way to find and verify leads. The third thing that we need to make sure that we're doing properly is the campaign setup. So when it comes to a campaign setup, this means how am I setting up my campaigns? How am I making sure that I'm landing in the box? How do I make sure that I'm optimizing the likelihood of me actually getting a response from these people? So what we really need to realize is that the average B2B buyer gets around 100 emails a day. They'll only open around 23% of the 100 emails that they get, and they'll only click through around 2%. What we need to realize when we see a statistic like this is that your emails must stand out. What I see so many people in the cold email space doing is they will type an email like the one that you're seeing right now. It's 3 paragraphs and it is super long and it is not going to provoke a response, because if I'm a B2B decision maker, I'm not going to sit there and read a 3-paragraph email from somebody I have no idea who it is. So what we need to realize is we need to optimize our campaign setup to be correct. So there's a few principles that I want to just share quickly with you to make sure that we're actually setting this up properly. So the first thing that we need to really dial in is our offer. We need to make sure our offer is clear. And when I say offer, we need to make sure we understand the who, the pain, and the outcome that you can provide. If we are not clear on our offer, if we're not specific, if we're not speaking to the actual consumer, the likelihood of your campaign actually having success is going to be significantly lower, because the way consumers are viewing cold email are significantly different. The way people's attention span has changed. We need to make sure that we're immediately catching their attention. We're speaking to the customer, we're speaking to their pain points, or we're speaking to their desired outcomes in a short format. So once we dial in the offer, what the campaign setup basically looks like is we have an opener email, and then we have 3-time follow-ups from the opener. The beautiful thing about the opener is we can always A/B test this. Each campaign should consist of an opener and then 3 follow-ups as it pertains to the opener. So the opener, basically what this is this should be up to 5 sentences. What we want to do is we want to lead with value and have a call to action of sending a video, sending something of value. The person that's going to open the email has no idea who you are. They don't trust you. There's no face. There's no trust factor. All we need to do is we need to have a opener email that's short, sweet, to the point, in the way that we're actually going to get a response and turn that contact into a lead, into a prospect, is by leading with value and actually speaking to the who, the pain, and the outcome that the customer actually wants. And the follow-ups, what we're trying to do is we're just simply following up on sending a video, desired outcome. All we're really doing here is we're just saying, hey, following up on sending over a video and how we can add 10 new clients to your business next year. Hey, following up on helping you increase your LTV of your clients through our click-through campaign protocol. Are you the right person to send this to? We're just simply using this to follow up. And now what we can do is we can just simply duplicate and scale this. And what we're going to be able to do as we use this type of framework is we're going to be able to figure out what is the copy that's working really well, what's the call to action that's working really well, what's the desired outcome that's working really well, and scale from there. We can simply do this inside of Instantly, like pretty quick. And the cool thing is that we can create this literally in 2 clicks with optimized emails. Let's just use Instantly's AI copy generator. So let's do AI tools, AI sequence generator. So let's just say my name is Agency U. We help agencies go from operator to orchestrator. We teach them how to become true CEOs inside of their business, help them with client acquisition, plug in our operating system so they can actually scale. So many of these in 6 months. Cameron took a 2-week vacation stress-free, and now, who else is a good one? And then we're going to do 4 and we're going to generate. So what this is doing is it's literally generating the copy for me. I click add sequence, perfect subject line, short, sweet, to the point. I'm just going to shorten this a little bit. So pain point. I notice many agency owners like you find themselves overwhelmed with daily operations, which can hinder your growth. One thing with AI, it's never going to be a saving grace. At least I haven't found something that's like works 100% of the time. So it's important to use something like this and work it. So case study, desired outcome, and then could I shoot over a personalized video explaining how this all works? Perfect, save. And then 2 days later, I can literally send a follow-up email. And I'll just be like, are you the right person to talk to about this? Love that we're adding the case study to the follow-ups. It is more simple than ever to make sure that we are set up for success. The 4th thing that we need to make sure or just be aware of is the personalization, okay? So what we used to have to do is we would grind on finding key information about people to hopefully get them to respond to our emails and get them to respond to our messages. The problem with this is trying to scale the unscalable, and it is completely out of whack. We would hire a VA basically to go through LinkedIn and find some sort of personalized line that we could add, and we would add it to a cell, and then we would upload it, and then we would send the cold emails with the personalization that we were able to get, and it just became complete overkill. Good news is today what we can do inside of Instantly's Lead Finder is they have an AI prompt generator. So what we can do is we can literally link up ChatGPT and we can create a column from our list of emails or from our list of leads. So if I click on AI prompts, they have hundreds and hundreds of prompts that you can choose from to create personalized lines, general unique sentence, company compliment, find competitors if you want to use that personalized line, find pain points, etc., etc. You can create your own templates. Literally in one click, you could say, I'm going to do a personalized line based off of website, and I'm going to create a personalized line using the prompt that is already in here from there. And once I do this, what it's going to do is automatically going to create a column on my leads that I can then use in my sequences. So no longer do we have to basically spend hours trying to come up with these crazy personalized lines. You can literally do it in less than 15 seconds using the Instantly AI personalized line generator, which is a huge value add. If you're finding what I'm talking about super dope, super relevant, go ahead and click the link down in the description below to try it out yourself. And you can try out literally the tools that I'm previewing with you today and see if this is a fit for you, see if this could be a fit for your business, and making sure that you're doing cold email the right way. So point number 5 is going to be the optimization. So we've sent the cold emails. We have our campaign set up. We have the personalization dialed in. We've been sending emails. How do I make sure that I'm optimizing this to actually scale? How am I making sure I'm optimizing this to actually get the best results? Well, the things that we need to realize is that first, it takes around 8 touches to secure an initial meeting with a new prospect. What we did in the messaging and the targeting, meaning we're not trying to sell them something, we're not trying to get them to book an appointment, we're trying to simply get them to raise their hand so that we can send them a piece of value will increase the likelihood of this. But to actually get them to book a call is likely going to be more touches. The second point is the average person sees between 4,000 and 10,000 ads per day. Okay, what does this mean? Basically, it means that I'm numb to freaking advertisements every single day. What we need to make sure is that we're doing things to stand out and we're being persistent with the follow-ups and we're strategic with our outreaches and we're being strategic with how we're actually standing out, which again, leading with value, and the copy will help with that. And then lastly, yes, there is a strong indication that we're experiencing a trust recession, meaning a significant decline in public trust towards institutions and individuals across various sectors, especially salespeople. Like, we don't trust them. We're getting hit up hundreds of emails every single day, tens of thousands of ads every single day that we're being exposed to. Who can I trust? How can I trust them? Let me address the first point of the touch points. So when we launch our cold emails, we're not just like saying, oh, these just went into the abyss, I hope we can respond and organize all of these different positive replies that we're going to get. Like, that is the wrong way to go about it. One of the best ways to do this is to have a design, have a system that you can follow to make sure you're being really organized with the positive replies of people that raise their hand, and make sure that you're actually following up with people to get them from email sent to becoming eventually a client. And the cool thing about Instantly is they have one analytics where we can see all the analytics in the last 3 months, 4 weeks, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it could be. And we can start to monitor which campaigns are doing best, which campaigns are not doing that great. In addition, they have a built-in CRM where basically what we can see is we can see all the people that replied that are interested. We can see how many meetings that we've booked. We can see how many meetings that we complete. We can see how many deals that we've won. Literally just a one-stop shop. So we're not having to sort through our email inboxes. We're not having to remember. Literally everything is inside of here. And the cool thing is if I open this, what I'll be able to see is I can see if they have their phone number associated. I can see their SMS. I can call them directly through Instantly. I can make a note to them. If they have LinkedIn synced up with their contact, I can find them on LinkedIn, which is a huge value add, which to the point of 8 touches, if somebody positive replies, I don't want to just send them information and never follow up with them. I'm going to be organized with this. I'm going to follow up with them. I'm going to hit them up on different channels, different ways. And I'm going to not just leverage email, but I'm going to leverage LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, omni-channel follow-ups to get them to become basically a prospect to a booked call to a client. It's easier than ever to make sure you're on top of your touch points and make sure that you're actually doing everything that you can be doing to increase the likelihood of them going from, again, a prospect to an actual client. Last thing I want to hit on is the trust recession thing. We are in a trust recession, and the best way to increase the likelihood of somebody to do business with you is to get them to trust you. So one thing that I would highly encourage you to do, in addition to using cold email, in addition to doing outbound, is to make content, to do trust building activities, to create content around adding value to your ideal customer. And you can even share that inside of your cold emails as follow-ups if you wanted to, as resources that you could send to them. The reality is that let's just say somebody books a call with you and they go on your website and there's zero trust building. There's nothing on there. There's nothing on your YouTube channel. There's nothing on your social media that indicates that you are in fact a trustworthy person. Do you think that person's going to, one, book a call with you, and two, be really hyped to have a conversation and trust that the thousands of dollars that you're likely asking for is going to be used in an effective manner? Probably not. Then let's go to the other side of the coin. If I'm thinking about booking a call with you, or if you email me, what am I going to do? I'm going to go on your freaking website. And if I go on your website, you have proof, you have YouTube videos, you have case studies, your social media is adding value to me, and you actually look like you know what you're doing. The likelihood of me actually booking a call with you and trusting you is going to be significantly higher because you have all these indicators that are telling me, oh, I'm a trustworthy person. I actually know what I'm talking about. So everything I just showed you can basically be used to start and scale any sort of business. And if you don't believe me, I actually made a video where I did exactly that. I went through everything that's required to start and sell a service in less than 10 hours using cold email. So you can literally just check it out and see all things behind the scenes and get some massive value. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will see you on the next video.